on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kusa. You ain't here for my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah, talking reparations. America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all in Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat.
This is the sound of QueenAShakur.
It's a cut on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine, you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans, and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine, you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your daily vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, so hello, Bronze Flat Power God, Claudette, my two loves. All right, Nessa G is here. OG Patrice, Dark Tube is in the building. All right, let's get into it. Queenie Moni Huey. All right, everybody, please hit that like button. I see you, Leon. All right, Lorraine is here. No more drama is in the house. All right, so listen. Shout out to all of my loyal Roys and everyone tuned into the Queen. I see you, retired federal police banks. All right, Alice, I see you, Desmond. Okay, so before we get started, let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find it at Walmart.com. Okay, let's get into it. We have a lot to talk about, people. We have a lot to talk about. First things, let's talk about this man who murdered this 11-year-old child who was playing Ding Dong Dash. Now, this happened in Houston. This happened in Houston. Police have charged a Houston man with murder in the fatal shooting of an 11-year-old boy who rang the doorbell of a home and ran away as a prank. Now, with that all being said, the sad thing is he not only murdered this poor child who was clearly playing a prank, but he was running away and he shot this poor child in the back. Okay, so I'm going to go to the report. Like stuff, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Also, please make sure that you're still subscribed to the channel, especially if you have not been receiving notifications.
An 11-year-old boy and several other kids were ringing doorbells and then running from homes in an East Houston neighborhood Saturday night. Just before 11 p.m., police say someone came out of one of those houses and chased after them, according to a witness.
They were playing a game of ding dong ditch, and at which point the person inside that house came out and shot.
The 11-year-old was taken to the hospital and pronounced dead Sunday, according to police. Video from the scene shows a person walking out of a home with their hands in the air. A person was detained for questioning and has since been released, police say. Investigators are reviewing surveillance video and working with the Harris County District Attorney's Office on possible charges. Some neighbors in the area are still in shock.
You don't go knocking on people's doors because of people do strange things.
Detective Michael Cass with the Houston Police Department says the suspect will likely face a murder charge since the death does not appear to involve self-defense and the shooting, quote, wasn't close to the house, according to KHOU. He's asking parents to keep a closer eye on their children to prevent this social media trend from turning deadly.
This may be more cautious of the times we're living in now.
In Atlanta, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
That is a darn shame. That is such a sad shame. He didn't have to murder that little boy. And the fact that it was not close to the home leads me to believe that he chased him. That's right, Nessa G. He chased that poor child. Dirty devil. Can you imagine the fear in that little child's heart when he saw that man coming after him with a gun? Just for ringing his doorbell. That is so sad, honey. There is evil people in this world. That man's probably a whole racist. I'm going to another report with a little bit more information.
Just released the mugshot of Gonzalo Leon Jr. He is accused of killing an 11-year-old boy who was apparently playing a game of ding dong ditch. The prank, of course, involves ringing someone's doorbell and then running away. Police say the little boy was shot in the back. It's the latest example of a trend that has left children dead. CNN's Ed Lavandera is in Texas on this story. Ed, tell us what you're learning about this particular incident.
Well, Brianna, this murder charge being filed several days after the Saturday night shooting that took place just after 11 p.m., where Houston police say that 11-year-old Julian Guzman and a group of kids were roaming through the neighborhood, knocking on doors, ringing doorbells, ding-dong ditching, as kids often do as in this prank, and that is when Houston police say that Gonzalo Leon Jr. Came out of his home and fired gunshots at those kids, striking 11-year-old Guzman in the back several times. Now, what is interesting is that Houston police detectives hinted at this murder charge over the weekend, saying that it was likely coming because they did not see any evidence that this shooting could be defended as a self-defense claim, that the shooting actually took place away from Leon Jr.'s home. So that was seems to be a significant key detail here that led investigators to pursue the murder charges against this 42-year-old suspect. And that is why we are anticipating that that murder charge has already been filed, and that Leon Jr. is expected he's already made a court appearance this morning and is expected to make another one tomorrow as well.
Okay, so he has appeared in court. What happened there?
Well, he made a brief appearance this morning, and there was just talk of him getting a court-appointed attorney. He didn't say much. Questions over the bond and where that will be set at won't come until follow-up here, the court appearance, which we anticipate will be tomorrow as well. But clearly, a significant criminal charge filed against him with these murder charges. It'll be interesting to see exactly what kind of bond, if any, is set for him at some point tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll be looking for that tomorrow. Ed, thank you so much for the very latest on this story. It's getting so much attention.
Trisha said, this man is stuttering so bad. I wonder why he was stuttering so much. He clearly was. Okay, so with that being said, very sad story. My prayers and condolences to the family, friends, and loved ones of that little boy. Now, that evil man shot him in the back multiple times, they said. Multiple times. What would make someone do something so wicked? I'm really just wondering, do people think things through before they act in such ways? You can't. So you're in your house relaxing. Somebody comes and ticks you off, ringing your doorbell in the middle of the night. And then you chase after them with a gun and kill them? Now you're going to jail. You have to go through a whole trial and may get life or decades in prison. Yeah, you can't be thinking these things through when you do such evil, wicked things. Because trust me, it's never worth it. It is just so crazy. My other question is, why was that poor little boy outside at 11 p.m. at night? When I was 11 years old, I wish I would be out at 11 p.m. at night, even on a weekend, okay? What was he doing outside at 11 p.m. at night? Where were the parents? Where were the parents? Anyway, this is all crazy. And speaking of that, there was a video that I just shared on X. This happened a few years ago, but someone shared it on X today and I reposted it. But let me go to it. There were these 3 teenagers who got killed because they broke into this man's house with guns, mind you. They broke into this man's house with guns. But when the man shot and killed all of them, the parents of the thugs were upset and wanted the man arrested. You know what I think the parents should have done? I think they should have arrested themselves. Because don't be mad at the homeowner. Be mad at yourselves. This is your fault. These parents, some of them do not want to take any accountability, but exactly most of the times, these things are the parents' faults, as far as I'm concerned. Okay? Because you didn't know you were raising a whole thug? Of course you did. Miss me with it. People know their children. Let me tell you how you know if you're raising a thug. If you have a good child, that kid comes home from school, does their homework, takes out their school clothes for the next day, takes a shower, may get on their phone, watch TV or whatever, then they go to bed. And when they bring home their report cards, they have good grades, at least passing. Now, if you have a kid who's a thug, they're not doing all of that. First of all, they're not coming home on time. Second of all, they're not doing homework because they're going to be skipping school if they even bother to go. Okay? They're going to be disrespectful to you to a degree, talking back, getting an attitude when you tell them things. These are all the telltale signs that you might be raising a thug. So when you know that you have these signs that you're raising a thug or they're coming home with extra money and you know they don't have a job, so where are they getting this money? Are they selling rugs? Okay? What kind of friends are they hanging out with? Ask yourselves. All right? Do their friends look like they're nice and respectable? Do they say yes, sir, and no, ma'am, and all of that? Or do they talk like they're from the streets? These are the things you should be asking yourself. And if you have yes to these questions, then just maybe you're raising thugs. So don't be surprised when thugs do what thugs do, and then thugs get consequences. And yes, it is sad, but the bottom line is you bring these things on yourselves when you don't do your due diligence as a parent. That's just what it is. People want to be out here acting like their kids are their friends. No, they're not.
Now their parents have filed charges. A homeowner shot and killed 3 teenagers who were breaking into his house. Now their parents have filed charges against the homeowner, demanding that he be arrested. According to the police investigation, the 3 individuals were Isaiah Reed, 16 years old, Jaime Hernandez, 15 years old, and their 16-year-old accomplice. At 4 a.m., they wore masks and carried guns, attempting to force their way into a homeowner's house. Despite a sign at the homeowner's door stating, "Trespassers may be shot," property. The homeowner quickly took countermeasures to protect himself. All three were hit. One died on the spot, and the other two died in the hospital due to severe injuries. After the incident, the parents of the three teenagers demanded that the homeowner be prosecuted, claiming that he had taken their three sons' lives and arguing that his counterattack was inappropriate. However, multiple witnesses confirmed that it was the suspect who first shot at the homeowner, and the homeowner only fought back in self-defense. The police also concluded, based on Georgia's self-defense law and the Stand Your Ground Act, that the homeowner's actions were a legitimate act of self-defense.
Y'all see how that went, right? Y'all see how that went, right? Wrong house on the wrong night with the wrong man. That's how that turned out for them, sadly. Handsome young men, they could have done so much with their lives, but instead they chose to be thugs, okay, and robbers with guns, armed robbers, coming up in somebody's house, kicking in doors. I'm sorry, make it all make sense, honey. Somebody come up to my house trying to kick in doors, honey. Baby, I'm coming up out of there like Rambo, me and Reno, okay? It's all crazy. Leon said parents need to look in the mirror. Exactly. Exactly. Anyway, with that all being said, honey, these kids out here are something else. Then the parents want to sit there and be mad at the people who do something to them in self-defense. Lady, sitting there talking about the man needs to be arrested and the countermeasures. Did y'all hear that part? Said the countermeasures he took were not necessary. So he's supposed to let your kids kill him? Is that what he's supposed to do? Oh, honey, let me tell y'all something. Honey, I lived in this neighborhood one time. There was a boy lived next door to me. His name was Pookie. I'm not even lying. And y'all know anybody in the black community whose name is Pookie is nothing but what? Trouble. This boy was always doing something, get into all kinds of trouble, trying to bully my son, got his cousins to jump my oldest son. Always doing something. Called the police on his behind one day. It was the day that he got his cousins who were visiting to jump D'Angelo. Somebody came running, knocking on my door, telling me my son got jumped. Yeah, I called the police on his behind that day, and his mom and all her friends, they were all ghetto, all came outside. And I remember when they moved into the neighborhood, I remember thinking, how the hell did they get a house over here? But through trickery, that's how they got it. So anyway, long story short, I called the police. The police come and they're asking what happened. And the mom and all her little ghetto friends are out there cursing me out, talking trash to me, talking about, oh, you must be effing somebody at the police department. Why you call the police and all this, just talking crazy. And I told her, I said, lady, I said, I did you a favor by calling the police. Okay? Because this boy, he's either going to be dead or in prison very soon. I promise you that if you don't do something about him. He was so disrespectful. Let me tell you this. When I went and knocked on their door to speak to the mom or his stepdad, I heard him. He answered the door. Pookie did. And I heard him. He was like, hey, ninja. This is what he's saying to his stepfather. Hey, ninja, somebody wants you at the door. That's what he said to his stepfather. So disrespectful. Okay? So I'm sorry, but these parents absolutely know when they're raising thugs. But guess what? You know where Pookie is now? And I don't even remember Pookie's name, but there was a nice young man who lived across the street. And he had spent the night at my house a couple of times because he was friends with my older son. At the end of the day, Pookie and that young man are now in prison because Pookie was a thug. Like I told his mama. I told her he was going to end up in prison or dead, and that's where he is, in prison for murder. In prison for murder. That's where Pookie is. I was living next door to a whole killer. Please pay attention. These kids are Some of them are just out of control. And when you have these parents who are so, nonchalant, the lady literally got mad at me because I called the police because your thug son got his cousins to jump my child and leave him in the street. Are you serious? But you're mad at me, not talking to your son and correcting him, condoning his uckery. And look where he's at now. You want to know how he ended up killing somebody? Let me tell you all, because see, it's a small world. By this time that Pookie went to prison, I had sold my house and moved. I had sold that house and moved. So, but funny thing is, there was a lady who lived in my neighborhood whose daughter was friends with a girl who dated Pookie. And that girl had gone to prison. So she's telling me about how bad these kids are. And she's telling me about, so-and-so's daughter, she just went to prison. Her and this guy named Pookie and this guy named, I forget the other kid's name that used to live across the street. But anyway, Cody, that was his name. So she tells me this story about how they got the girl who was 17 years old. She knew some guy that lived in a nice house and he had music equipment and all that stuff in there. And she had been running her mouth about it to Pookie and his friends about, oh, he got all this money. I seen it, this and that. So they make up a plan. They're going to go get her to go ring the guy's doorbell and flirt with him so he can let her in. And they're going to bum rush him and come in there and rob the place. And that's what they did. Only thing is, when they got in there, and one of them had a gun, I think it was probably Pookie, but when they got in there, the guy fought back. So things didn't go as planned. So when the guy starts fighting them and he's winning, they panic, of course, and they shoot him and kill him. And they got caught because the girl ran her mouth to someone. Then when the police came and spoke to her, of course, she told on Pookie and Cody. I think they got sentenced to like 32 years. But this is all something that stemmed from what I call bad parenting. Okay? Because if the mother had checked him when he was doing all the little things that kept escalating and getting bigger and bigger, if she'd have checked him somewhere, anywhere along the way, maybe he wouldn't have gone so far. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, let's continue. Okay? Red Aries said a hot ghetto mess. Exactly. Okay, so now let's talk about the White House, honey. First of all, Trump comes out and speaks about these rumors about his health because they said he was looking a whole hot mess the other day. And if you all remember, I reported to you about a week or so ago, I believe, that he discoloration on his hand, like it had been bruised, perhaps. Now I don't know what that all comes from. Maybe he's just getting thin skin because he's old or whatever. But also sometimes there's certain medications that can make make you have that type of color discoloration on your hands, or it could be from aspirin therapy. Like sometimes as people get older, they take an aspirin a day, like a baby aspirin or whatever, to help prevent having heart. But nonetheless, Trisha said he always looked a whole hot mess. D Major said he has thin skin. All right. Oh my goodness. Y'all are something else. Let me go to the footage, honey, because I absolutely cannot with y'all.
Social media trend over the weekend. How did you find out over the weekend that you were dead? You see that?
No.
People didn't see it for a couple days. 1.3 million user engagements as of Saturday morning about your demise.
Really? I
You
didn't see that. You know, I have heard, it's sort of crazy, but last week I did numerous news conferences, all successful. They went very well, like this is going very well. And then I didn't do any for 2 days, and they said there must be something wrong with him. Biden wouldn't do them for months. You wouldn't see him. And nobody ever said there was ever anything wrong with him. And we know he wasn't in the greatest of shape. No, I heard that. I get reports. Now, you knew I did an interview that lasted for about an hour and a half with somebody, and everybody saw that was on one of your competitors. I did numerous shows and also did a number of truths, long truths, and I think pretty poignant truths. No, I was very active over the weekend. They also knew I went out to visit some people at the club that I own, pretty nearby on the Potomac River. And no, I've been very active actually over the weekend. I didn't hear that one. That's pretty serious stuff.
What kind of president owns a club?
Well, it's fake news. You know, it's so fake. That's why the media has so little credibility. I knew they were saying like, is he okay? How's he feeling? What's wrong? I said, I just left. And it's also sort of a longer weekend, you know, it's Labor Day weekend. So I would say a lot of people know I was very active this Labor Day. I had heard that, but I didn't hear it to that extent.
Trump, sit your little lying self down somewhere. Talk about you heard it, but not to that extent. To what extent did you, in fact, hear it, clown? Okay, clown. Now, with that all being said, let's talk about this fool having the U.S. military. This was just a few hours ago, honey, that this was reported. Had the U.S. military to bomb some rug dealers, y'all. Let's get into it, honey. Trump thinks he is John Gotti. I keep telling y'all he's running this country like a whole crime boss.
When you come out and when you leave the room, you'll see that we just, over the last few minutes, literally shot out a boat, a drug carrying boat, a lot of drugs in that boat. And you'll be seeing that and you'll be reading about that. It just happened moments ago. And our great general, head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who's been so incredible, including what took place in Iran, knocking out potential nuclear power for a long time to come. I think within a month they would have had it. We didn't do what we did. But he gave us a little bit of a briefing, and you'll see. And there's more where that came from. We have a lot of drugs pouring into our country, coming in for a long time. And we just, these came out of Venezuela and coming out very heavily from Venezuela. A lot of things are coming out of Venezuela. So we took it out, and you'll get to see that after this meeting is over.
All right, Donald J. Gotti. Y'all heard him. Then took the boat up out of here, y'all. Let's get into it. I find it all so interesting. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Here it is right here. Trump says U.S. strike on vessel in Caribbean targeted Venezuela's Tren de Agua gang and killed 11. So he says the U.S. has carried out a strike in the Southern Caribbean against these rug dealers carrying on a vessel that departed from Venezuela and was operated by the gang. Now, the president said in a social media post that 11 people were killed in the rare U.S. military operation in the Americas, a dramatic escalation in the Republican administration's effort to stem the flow of narcotics from Latin America. Trump also posted a short video clip of a small vessel appearing to explode into flames. Do y'all hear this? That probably wasn't even a video of the actual incident, probably something he got off the internet. Okay, how much you want to bet? Posting a picture of a small vessel getting blown to bits. The strike occurred while the terrorists were at sea in international waters transporting illegal narcotics. Or narcotics. Why can't I say the word tonight? Okay, and this is said they were heading to the United States. That's what Trump said. Now you know he's going to say that whether they were or not. How does he know where they were headed? Anyway, they say no U.S. forces were harmed in the strike. Please let this serve as notice to anybody, even about bringing rugs into the United States of America. Do you hear this? You tell them, Trump. Honey, Trump is big and bad. Did you all hear what he said? said Nessa G said it's probably a lie. Okay, where's that meme of Michael Jackson saying it's lies? It's lies, y'all. They made it all up. It's probably exactly what Trump did. He probably made this whole thing up. You know what? That's a very good point, beloved. That is a very good point. This is all a hoax. Okay, y'all know Trump be lying. Do we have any witnesses? Okay, is there actual footage? And I'm not talking about that little AI clip that he posted on Truth Social, because that's likely what that is. But anyway, let me continue. Now, the video appears to show a long multi-engine speedboat traveling at sea when a bright flash of light burst over the draft. The boat is then briefly seen covered in flames. The video, which is largely in black and white, is not clear enough to see if the craft is carrying as many as 11 people. The video also did not show any large or clear stashes of rugs inside the boat. Child, this is all a lie. Trump just punked the whole United States, y'all. Do y'all hear this? I am absolutely done. Okay. Easy said Queen got Michael impersonations too. Y'all's president is a liar who lies. Do you all hear this? That was the people that wrote that article, the AP, that was their way of saying he's lying, y'all. Y'all hear how they dropped that little tidbit in the end? That was their way of saying he's lying, y'all. Said the video also did not show any large or clear stashes of rugs inside the boat. That was the piece right there just to let us know. It's all lies, honey. Trump made this up. Trump, I am so done, honey. Okay? Well, anyway, with that all being said, let's talk about Diddy. Let's talk about Diddy, honey, because they say Aubrey O'Day, honey. They said something about Aubrey O'Day had to pull a gun, honey. Hold on, you guys. Said something about she was scared about retaliation from Diddy and had to pull a gun and whatnot. It was something ridiculous. Okay, I don't know why these people just be saying the most ridiculous things. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Here it is right here. Okay, let me tell y'all what she said. This came out today. Okay, here's what they say, honey. Aubrey O'Day says fear of retaliation from Diddy caused her to carry a butcher knife. Girl, what? She said fear of retaliation from Diddy caused her to carry a butcher knife. First of all, ma'am, who in the heck is walking around with a darn butcher knife? Somebody let me know. And the who? Any of you all walking around with a whole butcher knife? Like, girl, make it all make sense. Honey, if somebody comes up and grabs you or tries to do something to you, what are you supposed to do? Tell them, hold on now, stop for a second. Let me pull out my butcher knife. Because, girl, where are you going to have that thing at? In your back pocket, in your sock, in your purse, in your bra? Where? This is all crazy. Out of all the things to carry, she said a butcher knife? Not a pocket knife, mind you, which would make more sense to me, but a butcher knife. Who does she think she is? Jason from Friday the 13th? Ooh, honey, I absolutely cannot. Okay, Michael Myers. Let me continue because I absolutely am done with her. So anyway, after speaking out against Diddy, Aubrey O'Day was so concerned about a response from the mogul or people close to him that at one point she armed herself with a butcher knife. O'Day, formerly of the Bad Boy Entertainment Group, Danity Kane, spoke to Decider last week about her fear of retaliation from Diddy, whom she accused of sexual harassment for years before his arrest last September. Now, at the Mogul's trial earlier this year, Diddy was found guilty of 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. During the trial, several witnesses testified about incidents of domestic violence, encounters that the Mogul's lawyers didn't deny, although they did say that one 2024 incident was self-defense. He's also accused of sexual assault in a number of ongoing civil lawsuits. She says, obviously, I've known about this behavior for a very long time. The vocalist said this around the 9-minute mark of the video. Okay, hold on. So we have the video. Hold on here. I'm going to put an overlay over this. Okay, I'm going to they said around the 9-minute mark. Okay, so I'm going to share the screen so we can hear this load of BS from Aubrey. Because Aubrey, girl, I don't believe anything you say. Talking about she was carrying a whole big arse butcher knife. Girl, bye. Not a butcher knife, honey. Where they do that at? Okay, here we go.
Extreme degrees, a very significant piece of chunk of that Making the Band era was there, live in action. I don't know, I was the soulmate to the president's son at one point. I've been in all the rooms with all the people that are running the conversation right now. I know how they think. I know what they say behind everybody's back. I know what they say about each other.
It seems like you're not afraid to go out there, say your truth, say your experience. Are you ever afraid? Are there ever moments where you're like, maybe I shouldn't say that, or you're nervous about an outcome or pushback or anything like that?
When I was younger, I was more like reckless. Nowadays, 2 things I'm starting to notice. One, during the, you have to remember, obviously I've known about this behavior for a very long time. I've been warning everyone for about 20 years now that this is not a safe person to work with. It just was falling on deaf ears because no one wanted to hear me saying it. When the Diddy stuff started, when Homeland Security started coming around and other things started occurring, and I started kind of getting in the cycle of that situation that was developing, when all the world was just buzzing along thinking that he's a great guy and nothing was coming.
Okay, Kiko Buffetti said, a knife? Is she related to Crocodile Dundee? Y'all are something else. Alejandro, thank you for your contribution to the channel, beloved. Peace, love, and blessings. I appreciate you.
Thinking that he just gave all their artists their publishing back and he's the greatest guy ever. That was like the last article the news was fed on him, which wasn't true. And then that took up a period. There were times during that where I was aware that physical danger was a reality. When I was on the phone with another fellow band, not in my band, but from a band previously that he created, Babs, I don't know. She's one of the ones that walked to Brooklyn to get the cheesecake. Unfortunately, that's what they're known for, which is coercion, live on television. MTV loved doing that back in the day. But anyway, so
grip, stability, precision. That's the essence of driving. Lawfin.
I talked to Babs, and there was a time where I was dating Praz from Fuji's, and he kind of gave me a call. He would always be my center. Like, I'll be like, am I being a Karen? Do I sound like a Karen to you? Am I doing way too much? Most of the time it was yes. There was one time where he was like, you could amp it up a little. And that's when I got this butcher knife, and I was on the phone with Babs, and I was making her like screen record all these unmarked cars that were outside on my block. I know how to look for certain things based off of certain things that I've had to learn in life. And there were unmarked cars around me for a bit that seemed suspicious. And I don't know how much danger there ever was, is, or isn't. I mean, we saw 2 victims drop out during jury selection. Clearly there were things moving and shaking on all sides. But I've been aware multiple times in the past couple years that physical danger is a real thing.
It's important to hear from everybody and anybody who has a
Okay, I've heard enough. Y'all heard that? Ugh, she needs to stop the cap. That's all I'm gonna say. She needs to stop the cap. I don't believe any of that talking about. And then y'all heard the part where she tried to sound like she was about that life or something, talking about, I know what to look for, and there was a bunch of unmarked cars. Girl, those were regular cars on the street. Like it's unmarked cars just followed her. Like, girl, who are you? Please. She knew what to look for because she's had things that happen to her in her life. Girl, if you had so much street knowledge, you would have known darn well if somebody's coming after you, especially somebody with the Diddy's power and all of that, you need a whole lot more than a butcher knife, ma'am. Make it all make sense. Honey, you out here on these streets thinking Diddy's after you and you walking around with a butcher knife? Girl, looking for marked cars through your window? Child, bye. Okay, I'm through. Anywho, let's continue. So, with that all being said, you all remember, I know it's all crazy. You all remember when I told you the judge basically told the prosecution and the defense in Diddy's case to hold on for a second, to get cases similar to Diddy's, okay, so that he could look over those when he made his decision on Diddy's sentencing. So this is what they sent to the judge on yesterday. Dear Judge Subramanian, the government respectfully submits this letter in response to the court's July 9th, 2025 order directing the parties to provide sentencing data to the court in advance of sentencing proceedings in this matter. Specifically, the court requested that the parties provide available data on sentences imposed where one, the primary or sole conviction was for a violation of, and that would be the Mann Act. Two, the base offense level under the sentencing guidelines was a calculated under, and then the other statutes, and a criminal history category. Okay, and the court further directed the parties to identify cases that match these criteria. The government has located several cases that satisfy the criteria identified by the court, which are listed below. Now, they say on the footnote, it says, after conferrals with the defense regarding a joint letter, defense counsel informed the government that they would be unable to exchange their case list with the government in advance of filing and would be submitting their list directly to the court. Accordingly, the government is providing its cases in this letter rather than in a joint letter. The government has listed only the case name, docket number, and jurisdiction pursuant to the court's order, but can provide additional facts and information regarding these cases upon request. And so here are some of the cases, honey. So they found quite a few. With that all being said, they're basically saying that the defense probably didn't want to let them know which cases they found. So they basically told them they'd rather just turn theirs in to the court themselves rather than them doing it jointly. And so that's also what the prosecution decided to do. So here's what I did. Since they listed the cases and all of that, I did a little research on some of the cases to see what the sentencing was. Hold on just a second. Yeah, to see what the sentencing was. And here we go right here. Now, this is one of them. This is one of the cases. This person's name is Felicita Almastica. Okay, this is a person who they felt, the prosecution that is, felt had a case similar to Diddy's. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Now, this is what they say. Two Martin County women plead guilty to interstate prostitution charges. This is from August of 2011. Winfredo A. Farrar, United States Attorney for the Southern District of Florida, and Michael Shea, Acting Special Agent in Charge, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement's Homeland Security Investigations, Miami Field Office, announced that defendants Felicita Almastica, age 51, and Jacqueline Encarnacion, 33, both formerly of Martin County, pled guilty today for their participation in an interstate prostitution scheme. More specifically, Almastica pled guilty to the interstate transportation of persons for purposes of prostitution in violation of the Mann Act. Okay, so they had the same charge as Diddy. Now I'm going to skip past some of this. Okay, so on April the 12th of 2011, Almastica drove Encarnacion to the Palm Beach International Airport to travel to Seattle, Washington. Encarnacion, by reason of plane transfer connections and canceled flights, took 2 days to arrive in Washington. Undercover agents posing as the managers of the local brothel met Encarnacion at the airport in Seattle and drove her to a local hotel. On the way, Encarnacion discussed with the purported managers the acts of prostitution she would perform, her prices, and the arrangements for payment. The following day, the undercover agents told Encarnacion that they needed to close the brothel because of heightened police attention on the brothel. Encarnacion then flew back to Florida, where the defendants were both then arrested. Mr. Farrar commended the investigative efforts of the ISIS Homeland Security investigations. Mr. Farrar also asked the Martin County Sheriff's Office, the Seattle Police Department, and they just name all of them, whatever. And so with that all being said, that is what happened. Now, that case does not really sound like Diddy's case to me, but again, it is a violation of the Mann Act, and I guess that was her first time, okay, her first offense, because that's another something else the judge spoke about. And but the lady was sentenced to 10 years. Okay, and that was the reason they were supposed to be finding these cases similar to Diddy's, so the judge could compare the sentencing when he got ready to sentence Diddy. Okay, so of course the prosecution's going to go with the highest, which is 10 years for each on per count, and then of course the defense is going to go with the lowest. Now there was another case that I looked up too that they listed. It is by a case of a man named Mark Daniel Benavides. Okay, out of this was in New Jersey. Okay, a New Jersey man, or actually this happened in North Carolina, but he's from New Jersey. A New Jersey man has been sentenced to 10 years in prison. Okay, so he got 10 years also for engaging in S trafficking. This is what federal prosecutors in North Carolina said. Now, the U.S. Attorney's Office said in a news release that Mark Daniel Benavides, 40 years old, of Elmwood Park, New Jersey, also was ordered on Wednesday to pay $32,800 in restitution to the victims. He pleaded guilty in March to transporting a victim across state lines for prostitution. Court documents and information presented in court showed Benavides was arrested in connection with an undercover prostitution sting at a Cary hotel in July of 2017. An investigation showed Benavides began prostituting one of the victims in 2016 in New Jersey and then recruited a second woman. They traveled to North Carolina where a third victim was recruited. Benavides abused one victim on a weekly basis, according to the news release, and exploited the rug addictions of the other two, using the promise of rugs to keep them prostituting for him. Benavides took all of the money the victims earned, and the investigation led to storage units in North Carolina and New Jersey, where investigators seized more than $34,000. Okay, so let me tell you about this. With this situation right here, that doesn't sound anything near like Diddy's case. That doesn't sound anything like Diddy's case at all to me. And I could see that person too got 10 years. That person That person too got 10 years, but they should have gotten 10 years. Did you hear what they did? Okay. They were S trafficking as well as violating the Mann Act. So I don't know how the prosecution, I don't know how they think that case is going to fly, because that's not like Diddy's case. The judge, do they think the judge isn't going to look over the cases and just maybe will look at the sentencing? I don't know. I don't know, because I don't know why they think that's going to fly. And I'll bet you, and that other case wasn't really like Diddy's either. Just the same charge, but not by the same set of circumstances, clearly. Okay? None of these, and I'm willing to bet money that none of these cases that they sent match Diddy's. Because the cases that I just showed you, those were the top cases. That's why I look those up first. Those were the top ones. So the rest of them probably get worse and worse. Okay? Because these cases are not even similar. And the main reason they're not similar is because, first off, Diddy wasn't having relations with these people, and nor was he making them. And he wasn't making any money off of them. These guys came up there, and yes, they got paid, but they came up there as willing participants. Nobody made them do anything, and they weren't even coerced. They were offered money, and they took it. That's how that goes. But, I'm waiting. I can't wait to see what the defense comes back with. Okay, I can't wait to see what the defense comes back with. So anyway, let me tell you all this. This is what I forgot to tell you all. We're going to go to Cardi B's closing arguments in a second, because they say Cardi B told the jurors, honey, this is not a difficult case. All right? Now, with that all being said, hold on just a second. I forgot to tell you all about the trash bags. Yeah, the trash bags coming out the window at the White House. I'm like, what do they have going on here? This is all crazy. It's a whole video. You can hear people talking in the background. Hold on. And then, they said Trump said that it was all AI. That's what Trump said, y'all. Trump said it was AI. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. And I'm going to keep this muted because they're playing music in the background. I'm just trying to figure out, why would anybody be throwing black trash bags out of the White House window? Now I want you all to pay attention, because see this window right here where the cursor is? See that window right there? It's a little opening. You can see it. That's where the bags are going to be coming from. Hold on. Right here. What's really going on? Okay, now what in the L do they have going on? Like, that is all strange. Okay? That is all strange. What is really going on here? Now listen to this. What is going on here? Leon said, get those ghetto people out of there, okay? Listen, here's what they say. Everyone's saying the same thing as bizarre video of black bags being thrown out of the White House window goes viral. Also, rumors have persisted regarding concerns about President Donald Trump's welfare. A video depicting someone flinging what looks like trash bags out of a window of the White House has been doing the rounds, and everyone's been saying the same thing. As speculation of Donald Trump's welfare continues, the footage has gone viral. Many have been left confused by the move, with one person pointing out in the comments saying they literally have chutes and elevators in the White House. There's no reason to toss things out of a window. Yeah, exactly. Like that, this is totally ghetto. It makes absolutely no sense. Another person said, this is so weird. What the F? Somebody said, opening the windows at the White House seems like a huge security risk. Speculation around the 79-year-old president's health has continued, with many eagle-eyed Americans spotting what appears to be persistent bruising cropping up on his right hand. In addition, some have speculated that Trump used a body double during a recent public appearance. Lord, please don't tell me they got more than one Trump, honey. Talking about a body double. I hope not. However, Trump was quick to hit back at the bizarre rumors that he passed away. Posted on Truth Social, never felt better in my life. Also, DC is a crime-free zone. Sit down. Talk about President DJT. Sharing their thoughts on the video, another user posted saying, I think that window is the bathroom of the Lincoln bedroom, if that's the Truman balcony at the left edge of the video. Okay, and then what does that mean? What would that mean? I have several questions. So anyway, I don't know why somebody was throwing bags out of that window. Okay, so anyway, beloveds, that all been said, let's go to the Cardi B case. We're gonna go to the a few minutes of the Cardi B case argument.
You're thinking right now, listen.
So picking up. Where I left off, Cardi testified in this courtroom that the whole encounter was maybe 45 seconds, less than a minute. Counsel has urged, and I'll get back to this as well, that she didn't see what happened before. But if you add her and compare her estimates with those of Tierra and Dr. Finke, who said that it lasted about 45 seconds, it's clear that they came out right at the beginning. Now, Cardi also testified in front of you and under oath that she never spit on plaintiff. She never struck or cut plaintiff. She never touched plaintiff's face. She never used the N-word. She never threatened to get plaintiff fired. Cardi also testified that she is in fact left-handed, and we've talked already about how that undercuts Dr. Lanikin's theory that a right-handed person caused the claimed scar. Cardi testified that she didn't have any 3-inch nails at the time of this incident in February of 2018. She also testified that she was in Los Angeles. She lives back east, and she was in Los Angeles for the NBA All-Stars weekend in 2018. And we put into evidence a photograph of Cardi to prove that her fingernails were an inch or less. It's
I'm
a
going to
photograph
fast forward,
that she testified
beloveds.
on plaintiff's own photograph of the hallway outside the doctor's office and based on the testimony in Cardi of Ms. Malcolm. This shows how far, you see the elevator bank and you see the doors that are depicted in the photograph that plaintiff showed you, plaintiff's counsel showed you. And where did they end up? They ended up in that corner. That's how far this demonstrates, based on the testimony and evidence in this case, how far plaintiff forced Cardi B backwards and into the corner that Tiara Malcolm saw her when Tiara opened the door into the hallway. Ms. Malcolm specifically testified that when she opened the door, she saw that plaintiff had Cardi against the corner. Ms. Malcolm testified that she said, "What are you doing? You're at work. Go back to your post." And that the plaintiff just refused. She was going after Cardi. She was yelling, screaming. Ms. Malcolm testified that she got between them, with Cardi behind her and with Ms. Malcolm facing plaintiff. The evidence is that at that point, Ms. Malcolm testified that plaintiff was swinging at Cardi, who was behind Ms. Malcolm. That's what she testified to. Now, she didn't.
Okay, he was boring me. I had to turn it off. Now, with that all being said, for those of you that don't know, Cardi was cleared. So she won her case. She won her case. So let's go to the report. Here we go.
Cardi B has been found not liable in a civil trial brought by a security guard. Ahmadiyyah has claimed the rapper cut her face and spat on her during an altercation outside of a doctor's office in 2018. Cardi B maintained that she never touched the plaintiff, and just minutes ago, the jury reached a verdict finding Cardi B not liable for any monetary compensation after deliberating for less than an hour. And here's what the rapper had to say outside of court just minutes ago.
I'm not even playing around. I will, even if I'm in my deathbed, I swear to God, I will say it in my deathbed. I did not touch that woman. I did not touch that girl. I didn't lay my hands on that girl.
All right, well, y'all heard it here first. At the end of the day, let me tell you something. It was evident to me from the jump, like I told you all, that the girl was lying. Okay? That she was lying. Her story had changed. She was just, and then also even from what the witness said, from what the doctor said. Okay? At the end of the day, honey, it was obvious she was lying to me. I didn't believe one word of it. Not a word of it. And this is breaking news because this was just about 2 hours ago. Okay? Hold on. I'm going to one more report. The lawsuit was filed by Ahmadiyyah, a former security guard who worked at a Beverly Hills building in 2018. At the time, Cardi B was pregnant with her first child. Ellis claimed that during a verbal altercation, Cardi spat on her and scratched her nose with a fingernail. She said the incident caused her emotional trauma, left her face with facial scarring that required a cosmetic procedure, and ultimately cost her the job. Do y'all hear this? And of course, Cardi B denied all of the allegations. They said Cardi B's lawyers argued in court that basically she was just yelling at her and using profanity. And that's just part of normal life. Tell you what, honey, they said Cardi B told the jurors it's not a difficult case. It really wasn't. You wanted $24 million for a scratch on your nose, on your cheek that nobody saw, by the way. Okay? Nobody saw. And then, like I told you guys the other day, how you know that she was the aggressor is because she had Cardi backed up against a wall. You're always the aggressor when you're coming toward the person and the person is backing up. That makes you the aggressor, lady. And how you further know she was the aggressor and the one acting so belligerent is because the other woman, when she got between them, she ended up cutting that woman's face with her nails. And the woman's forehead was bleeding. Okay? How hostile was she? Troy said she thought she had, Troy said she thought she had a lick. I know that's right, beloved. Okay. I know that's right. Sheila said Imani's going to need a GoFundMe to pay her legal bills. Poor Tink Tink thought Cardi was giving her money. Y'all are low down and dirty. And I love it. Absolutely love it. Woo, Easy said, I hope Imani's attorney got a retainer from her first. Oh, honey, let me tell you something. Her attorney was terrible. Do you all remember how he came in there the other day? I played you all showed you all the video where he said that she had the JJ discharge. Now, why would he have said that in court? It was so unnecessary. That man was crazy. That man was insane. Where did he get his license to practice law from? Target? That he was saying some of the strangest things ever. Totally unprofessional, Claudette. Totally. Sheila said he was getting on her nerves. He was getting on mine too. He was just like a clown at a circus. And then remember when he asked Cardi B what she said to the girl? And Cardi's like, I told her, B, get the F out my face. B, why the F you recording me? And then he said, say it again. Look at her and say it again. So say it to her face so she can hear you. Y'all remember that? I'm like, what? Is he serious? Cardi B looked at him crazy, like, what? Yeah, say it again. Look at her. Look at her and say it to her face so she can hear you. What? She already heard it, fool. What are you trying to do? It was the theatrics of it all for me, honey. I knew he was losing. He was terrible. If I were that girl, I'd turn around and sue him for incompetent counsel. It's awful. Trisha said lawyers are us. Okay. I am so done. Red Aries said that was some BS. You already know. Anyway, listen, let me get out of here. I love y'all. I love y'all to life, honey. That was fun. Okay. Well, I'm glad Cardi B, doesn't have to pay her a dime because clearly the lady was lying the whole time. And I just knew she was lying. All right. She was clearly pressed. I believe everything that Cardi said in this case, honey. Okay. In this case, I believe everything Cardi said. But listen, when you think about it, Cardi's 2-0 in court. She won against Tasha K and she won against this lady. So, all right. She obviously has some good attorneys. Okay. So anyway, with that all being said, I love you all to life. Enjoy the rest of this evening. I will see you all in the morning with your morning wake-up call. Until then, beloveds, each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace.
With that gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I